Well, here we are for Saturday. That means it's time for the Cummins Real Estate Group show with local realtor rock star Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning. You're the rock star, Curtis Pope.
No, I used to have the hair for it, but no, not anymore.
Hey, you're the drummer. You got rock star kids.
Yeah, that's true. I have a wannabe rock star son, so we can go with that, I guess.
Well, I want to say today we have, and we were thinking about talking about it last week, but now I think everyone's had the time to receive all their BC assessments. So we're going to talk all about BC assessments, maybe into the second session, but we do have something else. Ooh, it's the ugly talk in the room right now. Everyone's talking about it, this horrible other tax, another tax that the government wants to implement. Well, we're going to talk about that in the second session. But you got your BC assessment?
I sure did. Yeah, no, I looked at mine right away and then went online and, snooped around in all my friends and family members' houses too.
That's the fun of the website, bcassessment.ca. There's actually some fun information you can find there. And if you scroll down, and you can actually pop out of the map and click your neighbor's property and have a look at theirs. And you can hit recently sold properties. And albeit all of my, evaluations that I do and everything, I do have a quick look there. I definitely don't rely on it because, wow, they don't assess it. They don't do it like a realtor or an appraiser would. But it is interesting to see what's sold recently and all that good stuff on the site.
Absolutely, and I mean it's mind-boggling how much things went up here in the Fraser Valley in just the last year.
Oh, yes. And actually, I've broke it down. And I know last week we had our monthly stat show, and we actually went year over year everywhere. But now I see what all the assessments in the different areas have gone, and we're going to compare it with, a lot of them with what the actual true market value, how it's gone up compared to the BC assessment value, which will be interesting. Yeah. So without further ado, let me just write that time. Okay, so why a big increase in your home's value doesn't always mean a big property tax hike. I'm going to answer some questions this show that a lot of people have. Not everyone, I shouldn't say that. Most people, a lot of people think that if their assessment values go up, their property taxes automatically go up. And we did have a manager of the BC assessment out of Abbotsford in our show. Was that 2 years ago, Curtis, or was it about 3 now?
I think we're probably getting close to 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, 2.5 or more. Yeah. So if anybody wants to go back to that episode, it is on Country 107.1's website, and as well as mine under podcast or radio show, or go on our podcast and have a look or listen to that show. However, some things to know about your home's assessed value and what that does or doesn't mean for your listing price or property taxes is what we're going to talk about right now. While seeing a change in your home's assessed value might make your eyes grow wide, there's no reason to speculate or panic. Some worry that a big jump in the homes assessed directly translates into that higher property taxes. I mean, that's what it seems like has been on the street and what we've all heard before. But while it can be the case, sometimes it's not quite that simple. Or what if you're thinking of selling? Does the assessment give any indication of what your home might fetch on the market? Not quite that either. Here are some things to know about your home's assessed value and what that does or doesn't mean for your listing price or property taxes. So the first question, does my home assessed value impact what my home might sell for? Well, not necessarily. The economist with the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, Keith Stewart, says, so both the assessed value and its listing price are really just guideposts that are hopefully in the neighborhood of what the final value is going to be. Today, the answer to the question everyone has, what's my home worth? The answer is we don't truly know until you test the market. How many evaluation appointments have I been in when, of course, they ask, what's my home value worth? And I can give them a minimum. I would definitely not sell it under this price, but that's not the price it's going to sell for. It's going to sell for higher, but nobody knows that until you actually give it the exposure, put it on the marketplace, show it to the best ability that it can, let every single buyer and realtor know about your property by not just the MLS, realtor.ca, but so many different avenues, and you will have droves of buyers through, and you will should have a lot of multiple offers. I think recently, the last week, at least the highest number that I heard from a local realtor who got offers was 41 offers for one house.
That's a lot of offers to go through. Holy cow.
Can you imagine?
Man, and think that somebody probably just edged somebody out by just the smallest of margins, too, to get the place.
Exactly. That's a lot of offers. I don't know if they just priced it initially way too low, and that's why there were so many, because that's a lot. But last week I also heard of somebody getting over 30 offers. So,
well, you may recall one of the houses we put a bid on when we were looking for our house. The first we put a bid on, there was 21.
Yeah, that is extreme. Takes hours to go through all the fine lines of all those offers. So another question is, what can my home's assessed value tell me about how it might do on the market, and can I use it to determine my listing price? Well, the assessed value of the home is determined based on its condition, the market, and other factors current as of July 1st of any given year. It essentially tells you what your home may have sold for, all caps, on July 1st of the previous year. However, assessments are mailed out to homeowners in January of the following year, which means the state of the property and market conditions may have also changed since the July assessment. As a result, what a home could have sold for would have likely also have changed, of course. Another question a lot of people have, do assessments mean different things or for condos and townhouses and detached homes? Well, BC Assessments database will often have more accurate information for newer properties, such as condos, because older properties like detached homes, if we're speaking old or new, may have had work done that isn't noted in the database. If the city doesn't send the information in to BC Assessments about permits being approved, or if individuals did work without the required permits, they wouldn't know. And typically in townhouses and condos, they pretty much stay the same. But with detached properties, you could build a detached shop. You can have all those greenhouses. The landscaping could have a couple $100,000 in it or more. I mean, there's all sorts of upgrades that a detached property could have. That's a bit harder to put into a townhouse or a condo, and that's why there's so many different variables that BC Assessments may not know about your property. It may not have been sold for years and years. There could be somebody who has lived in there for 45 years, and if it was sold last year, it would actually have a higher assessed value because of the way the percentages go year over year, and if the BC Assessments never knew about any upgrades. I've seen properties showing 140,000 or whatnot on the assessment, but they're worth, over $1 million. So definitely look at all those different aspects. And Curtis, you may have to keep me on time today because I wasn't paying attention to time, and you know how I like to talk.
I'm well aware. I am well aware of what you can do with time. You've still got yourself a good 3.5 minutes.
Oh, good, because I have a lot to fill in for that. To 3 minutes, maybe stretch it to 4. No.
That would be unlike you.
Often the database that the BC Assessment also uses is based on what information is offered when a property is listed for sale through the MLS. But what if it was an exclusive listing? What if it was a private sale? Or, then they wouldn't have that information. But they do pay attention to the MLS. So that's why if you recently sold, sometimes it can jump a bit higher than it would just average overall along with the rest of your municipality or city. So the BC Assessment website shows comparable homes and recent sales in your area, as you mentioned before, Curtis, earlier. But is that a tool, or is it a tool my real estate agent can use to decide a listing price? Well, while assessment values don't directly translate into a home's listing or selling price, buyers and sellers do check the BC Assessment website, most of them do, for information that can help in a decision to buy or sell. So as far as when you're looking at selling or buying, and if you want to look at the assessed value for your property type, for other recent sales and just for things that are just in the neighborhood that have turned over. If you notice anything particular in there, that it's great publicly accessible data. It's easy. bcassessment.ca. What's the assessed value? Punch in the address and you'll see it there. It's also a place where if the property doesn't show as sold in the past 3 years, again, because maybe it was a private sale or the realtor involved, it was an exclusive sale, then it'll show up on the BC Assessment's website for that property, but it wouldn't be on the MLS system for realtors to know. So that's why I like checking that history as well on there, and you may too. So with that, let's just go on our break here, and we'll come back with more.
Look at you. You're actually almost bang on time.
Once in a while.
It does happen. Well, people might want more information about assessments, about what you do as a realtor and things like that. Where can they go?
Well, they can go to michellecummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this.
She's a somewhere girl. She's a somewhere
And we're back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Now, I guess we still have some assessment to talk about here.
Assessment. Actually, it should be tax, right?
That's right.
So does a big increase in my home's assessed value mean a big hike in my property tax? Well, a common misconception is that a jump in your home's assessed value means you'll be dinged come tax time. But in reality, it depends on what the change in your home's assessed value is in relation to other homes in your property class and municipality. So taxes decrease if your properties, did you hear that? Decrease. It's true. Sometimes they do. In this case, not very often.
I'd like to see that happen just once.
I should try to find a comparable. Probably none for many years. But if your property's assessment change is lower than the average change for your property class, your property taxes will actually likely decrease. Likely is very light.
A likely story, Michele, is what I'm saying.
That's what they say. Taxes remain the same if your property's assessment change is similar than the average change for the property class that your property's in, and your property taxes will likely remain the same. And then taxes increase. Well, if your property's assessment change is higher than the average change for your property class, your property taxes will likely increase. Your property class and the average assessment value change for your property class are both listed on your assessment notice. Of course, there are other factors at play as well, and it will depend on the property tax situation in your specific municipality, but as a guideline, there's no need to panic right off the bat if you see your home's assessment value increase. I did have a few phone calls last week where clients and the general public were very, very concerned about that. So let's now chat about how much the BC assessment values came up overall from the year prior. So we're talking from 2020, July 1st, to 2021, July 1st, the current assessed values we all have. So in Surrey, it went up 34% for detached properties. For their strata properties, that's including all townhouses and condos, we're calling strata, it went up 18%. Now in White Rock, a detached went up 27%. But in actual fact, the market value in White Rock went up 29.4%. Strata for BC assessment in White Rock went up 17%. But in actual fact, the market value year over year had gone up 29.6%. In Delta, BC assessment went up 33%. But in actual fact, that's detached. But in actual fact, detached in Delta went up year over year, as of last month's stats anyways, 48%. Strata in Delta went up, BC assessment, 13%, but in actual market value went up 38%. And the township of Langley, BC assessment, detached homes went up 34%, and for strata in the township of Langley went up 24% for BC assessment. City of Langley, BC assessment went up 39% for detached homes and up 20% for strata. City of Abbotsford went up 38% for detached homes, but in actual market value, Abbotsford detached went up 48.4%. And strata for BC assessment went up 21% in Abbotsford, but actual market value went up 37.8%. So you can see the rhythm that the market values overall for last year went up a lot more than the actual BC assessment. In Chilliwack, the BC assessment for detached homes went up 40%. In Mission, detached BC assessment went up 36%, but actual detached homes market value went up 51.2% in Mission. And for District of Kent, the BC assessment for detached homes went up 35%, and in Hope, detached homes BC assessment went up 45%, and Harrison Hot Springs went up 35%. So in everything, though, I have noted that you'd be surprised. Hope, can you believe, Curtis, that a BC assessment in Hope went up 45%?
Yeah, no, I can believe that because, there's a lot of nice houses that have been built around Hope in the last few years. It's an area that's kind of growing in a strange way because I guess, it's not that far to drive to Abbotsford or Chilliwack to work, and you can have a bit of a quieter life. So once you're beyond Hope, you're beyond Hope. But around Hope, you're in a good place.
Yeah, the mountains, and they've really built up. Richard was surprised. I'm all, oh my gosh, they have a Save on Foods, they have a Starbucks, they've got so much, because he's all, what does Hope have? It's actually built up quite a bit in the mountains and the river and the lake, and it's a nice community. And you're right about the newer construction and new neighborhoods. I just sold one this last year, beautiful, beautiful rancher with a walkout basement, gorgeous, right by the trails, and yeah, so it's quite a nice place. So I wanted to chat about this horrible, horrible thing that we're all very upset about that the government is wanting to implement, and it's called another tax, home equity tax. Have you heard of it?
I have heard. Whenever I hear the word tax, it just, grates on my final nerve.
Absolutely. Oh. So they're trying to slow down prices, but if you want to lower prices on a product, you make more of that product.
Yeah, you need inventory to get prices lower.
Exactly. You don't add more costs. You give more product, make more inventory. It doesn't work out. The property purchase tax. They tried that. They implemented that. I think it was in the 80s for the same reason, to try to slow down pricing back then and lower prices back. They never got rid of it, and they haven't even they're just adding tax, adding cost, and that's never worked. It's never proven to work.
Well, remember, once they add a tax, it never goes away. I mean, income tax was only added to help fund the First World War. Here we are 100 years later, we still have income tax.
Exactly, and it's just making a stand, being a voice, and doing everything we can to make sure it doesn't get implemented. Vancouver property, back when they implemented the property transfer tax, was worth $150,000. That tax didn't work. Look how prices have gone up. So it's just another money grab from the government. And it's just an excuse to make more money for them. And it's not right. It's not a good idea. It's not going to lower prices. We need to get rid of the red tape on builders, to get rid of the red tape against development, and we need more housing built. And we actually have plenty of land to do that if we do it smartly. And that is the answer. So from the speculation tax and vacancy tax to the foreign buyers tax and all the other taxes, BC's current measures designed to improve housing affordability haven't managed to slow a market that's often considered a cash cow. Now, West Coast think tank argues a surtax on equity may be part of the solution. Now, it just can't happen. So there is a lot of people talking about this. So if people want more information, a lot of the real estate industry, of course, there's a lot of different sectors who have a lot of advice about this, the economists and everyone else. So I would, if you have a say, please have a say. So with that, I want to go into some new listings because listings are at all-time lows. So whenever there are some on the market, people's ears open up. So I've got a pre-construction condo, actually, that is coming out, not to be completed until 2024, but it's being sold. This 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, almost 1,000 square foot with a really large deck in Mission. The building's called Wren and Raven. And again, completion dates in 2024, 15% down. The price is $605,000. If you don't want to keep it before completion, you can assign it as well. And the market's supposed to go up, everyone says, this year. So, or you can rent it out, or you can have it for your young kids who may be of the age in a couple of years to have their own home. So that is a beautiful listing that just came out. And then I have this gorgeous acreage. It's 2.32 acres, so over 2 acres. It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom. It's only 14 years old, and it's off Gladwin Road, and the size is over 6,100 square feet. It's a 2-story plus a full walkout, unfinished basement, so you can finish it to your heart's content, maybe a rec room, maybe a suite. And there is a beautiful, detached, large workshop. I'm not going to call it a garage because it's a workshop. There's high bay window. This property is great for truckers. It is really nice. It's long, so you've got this just depth to it, and it's perfect for horses. There's a hobby farm. It's got stalls. It's got paddocks. It's in a really nice area, and the price is $2,899,000. And then next week, I have getting on the market. Actually, Monday, it's going to hit the market. So coming soon, one in Agassiz, and actually, it's a good-sized lot. The house was built in 1969. It's been updated, lots of updates, new windows, so much. There's got AC. It's open concept. It's got great vaulted ceilings. It's a single garage, lots of parking though for RVs, long RVs, boats. Huge backyard, raised garden beds. It's a over 10,000 square foot lot. The house is a split entry house, and it's a 2,300 square foot, all finished, beautiful home. It's priced at $975 on Monday. So keep an eye on that. And I'm going to end with a quote of the week. It is, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out." That's by Robert Collier.
And no truer words have been spoken. Very, very cool. All right. Well, if people want more information about what you do as a realtor, and maybe they have questions, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.